Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of Healing Arts Talks, where I interview people in the healing arts and artists. And this is a space to uplift people who work in those crafts. Today, we have a very special guest. Oh, I see you, Danielle. Hi. Today, we have a very special guest, Xulee Lady V, artist and herbalist, and one of my dear friends. And we're going to talk about a lot of topics. I'm so excited to have her on as a second guest. So I'm going to go ahead and invite her. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. If you're watching the replay, welcome. I'm going to go ahead and invite her in the chat. Hello.
Hey
Hi.
girl.
How are you,
Hi.
Julie?
I'm good. Look, I gotta turn my phone. I don't look. Let me make this work. I'm sorry. My phone was dead. I didn't even know it.
It's all good.
I'm ghetto.
That's all right.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Busy. Busy, but good. Good.
I'm
Hey,
glad to hear that. Hey, Daddy. Thank you for joining, everyone.
Hey,
Okay.
everybody.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming on, Xulee. I really appreciate you being a guest and going with me when this impulsive wave just came through. So thank you so much.
I was with you. Herbs and
Yes.
yeah, we're gonna have fun.
Yay.
Hi, Chantel.
Awesome.
So yeah,
Hi, Chantel.
I was trying to think, I don't, there's so much to talk about, but I'll let you start us off because I can ramble and go on and on. So
I love it. I love it. We're here for it. We're here for the flow. I guess the first question I want to ask then, if we're talking about herbs, is how did you get started working as an herbalist? Like, what's your story in regards to how you started working in that field?
well, I always grew up around herbs, in the country. My grandma, she had a big old cabinet full of herbs. So she was always taking garlic and cayenne pepper and things like that. You know what I mean? That was kind of what I grew up with around. My family knew of natural remedies, talked about natural remedies, but it wasn't a thing. What really pushed me into herbalism was actually I suffered from severe depression and anxiety. And you can totally relate to this. And Danny, if Danny's still watching, she can too. I was getting ready to get kicked out of grad school because of my depression and anxiety. And Miss Day called me and she's like, they're getting ready to kick you out of grad school. They're saying that you're not well. And you need to either find some antidepressants or you need to find something natural that's going to help you. Is what she kind of said to me. And I found that to be interesting because the next day I went to the herb store. I started talking to the lady about herbs to help with anxiety and depression. I just dug down my own rabbit hole of herbs to help with anxiety and depression. Of course, this is when I'm 19 years old. And I just from there, that was when it kind of all blew up. At that point, I was in it, for the long run. And even though it was something so hard that I suffered through that got me there, after that, I started working at a herb store. I started gardening, it was just a snowball effect where it's I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop it.
Wow. That's so beautiful. I love how everything just kind of unfolds. And it seems like with a lot of people who work in the healing arts, it's usually our, challenges that we're facing is the catalyst for that, whether it's, dealing with depression and anxiety and going through all of that and having those tools available, which is really helpful.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, right here. So
Hi, Sarai. So that's really great. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that you talked about how elders, with your grandmother with herbs and learning how to work in in the South particularly. That's something that we see a lot of elders who work with natural herbs or know what plants to pick or what
Right.
remedies to use. So that's like part of that tradition. And it's just like,
help me get it there. Huh? Can you help me get this part?
Oh, it's right there. Huh? It's right there. Grab it. The iPad. Mommy's on the phone, so I'll be with you in 1 second. Yeah, and I feel like elders, like for me, like growing up in the South, like, well, everybody has natural remedies. Like that, I tell everybody, like you're every single person in the world. It does not matter who you are. You have a natural remedy. Somebody told you to take something for something, whether it was ginger ale for upset stomach, like even though people say ginger ale is not medicine, the Black community says yes it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's a part of the healing too, is that mental connection and believing that something is going to work for you, believing that something is going to help you, and then diving into that thing that's going to help you is a part of the healing too. Yeah. So like I think, like I remember like growing up and having to take castor oil if you were constipated. And, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, disgusting. And like, just ew, what happens when you take castor oil, right? Or, peppermint tea, for an upset stomach. Like everybody kind of grew up with some type of natural remedy in the home. So for me, it's like that I grew up around it. And I think, like you said, it just, me going through depression and anxiety was a catalyst for me to learn and become a master of these herbs, a master of this craft, what I'm saying? Yes, I love that. And it helps other people along the way. Like once you're figuring out, okay, what works for me, how can I spread that with other people? And yeah. And I'm still like, I feel like with herbs, like even though I've been studying herbs for a long time and I've done herbs for many, many years, like there's still people who teach me stuff all the time. Like I would say, my grandma used to take this, that, or the other. Like I hear stories all the time from different people about what and I'm still learning every single day. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a never ending journey. Of course I have my herbs that I love and that I use, but you know what I mean? Like it never ends. I keep growing from that, I love that. Yeah. And I feel like that's really important, for your own personal practice and just like to help others, the clients that you serve. It's just like really great to keep learning and like expanding. And speaking of your favorite herbs, do you have some that you like to share or herbs that you really enjoy working with? Yeah, like I go through seasons with herbs. So I have like my herb for a season. That's like my herb that I use all the time. So like, obviously my all-time favorite herb is dandelion. I talk about it all the time. I see you post a lot about that. Yeah. I don't care. I know it's like a simple herb that everybody knows about, but I always say dandelion for president because it's kind of like my herbal ally. I kind of use it a lot in different things. It grows everywhere around me, so I always have access to it. You know what I mean? So that's definitely one of my favorite ones. I just love that for just overall healing. And it was kind of one of the first herbs that I learned about on like not just a level of, like the basic stuff of like, it helps with liver and kidneys. It helps with digestive issues. Like, of course, all of those things, but it was the first herb that I kind of like got into botany and the meaning of botanical names with. So I learned about dandelion roots, but dandelion's botanical name, and learning about its botanical name taught me about the herb. So the botanical name is like Pteraxacum or Pteraxacum officinalis, which that word basically means to move out. So it's like it's moving toxins out of the body. It's moving bad energy out of the body. It's cleansing and it's clearing. So it's like the botanical, that was like a new eye opener for me with that herb where it's like, oh my God. So wait, the botanical names will give us the keys to what it does. And so like, that's why I love dandelion. That's definitely one of my favorites. Thyme. That's my herb right there. Okay. I kind of use that for if I don't know what's going on with a person, or like I use that for mental health. So like to calm anxiety, to calm depression, to help with nervous disorders and nervous issues. It's very helpful for that. but it's also amazing for like the lungs and a cold or a flu or
Oh.
heating up the body. So, you know, like you can take time for almost anything, you know what I mean? And so that's definitely one of my top herbs that I love to talk about. And it's one of the oldest herbs that we have knowledge available to us through writing. So
Wow.
on the ancient walls of Kemet in Egypt, you can find them writing about thyme on the walls of Egypt and talking about its healing properties. So I love that because it's like it's one of our eldest herbs that we have with us to this day. It's easy to grow. It grows throughout the winter. It grows throughout the summer. It's medicinal at all points. And I'm really into mental health and healing with herbs. And so, like I said, it's used for that. So that's definitely another one of my favorites. And I mean, I could go on and on for days. So like interrupt me.
Okay. I love hearing this. I'm just like, oh yes, yes. Like it's just great to like listen to all this and learn, you know, especially with time and all the different uses that it has. It's really cool.
Yeah, like definitely great for like just nerves. Like anytime that I can feel myself like getting myself worked up into an anxiety or like even like just have issues with like my breathing, I start taking time tea because it helps me to rest. It helps me to focus. It gives me more time.
Yeah.
Not to be corny, not to be ultra corny, but you know, I have to.
That's all right.
It gives me more time in my life. It helps me, you know, to grow, just in general. So that's definitely one of my favorites. Slippery elm bark. Slippery elm bark. Top favorite herb. I love like the luscious, moist, smelly good, tasty good, sweet, soft herbs. Like I'm really into those herbs. I'm really into feminine herbs. And so, well, let me just say, like with slippery elms bark, I kind of learned that it's one of those survival plants. So like if you ever find yourself without food or you ever find yourself malnourished to the point that you can't eat. Right, because you know, like some people, like the cancer patients, they might have like, you know, go through chemo and they don't have an appetite. They're, you know, all of those things, and so they're losing weight rapidly. So the slippery elms bark can basically sustain and nourish you as you're trying to repair your body, and so you can drink it as like a soup or like a gruel. And it can like it just really soothes you. It soothes the mucous membranes. It soothes the stomach. It's just really delicious. And I actually, the lady who taught me herbs, she has a video where she talks about slippery elms bark being used in war times to pack in a wound.
Wow.
Like to pack in like gunshot wounds to help restore like the bones and the cartilage of those wounds using that slippery elms bark. And so I love to use that. I use that in my womb tea as well because it's just great for women's issues. It's great for you know, keeping that vagina nice and moist, you know what I'm saying? You know, keeping that wop, you know what I'm saying? So it's great for that. And so like I love to use that. That's definitely one of my all-time favorites too. So those I would say like are some of my top three.
I love it. Thank you.
It's hard to narrow it down.
Yeah, I know there's probably so many more, but that's I'm gonna definitely make note of that and be using that in my arsenal as well. And speaking of that, like as we're transitioning, well, we've transitioned into the fall season. Are those some herbs that those three, would you recommend those for the fall? Or
Definitely recommend thyme. Definitely recommend slippery elms bark, because what slippery elms bark will do is like when you get that sore throat, you know, and it's just like nothing, even if you take it and you still feel normal, you still have that achy throat, you can make a slippery elms bark tea with a little bit of cayenne pepper and some honey and sip on that, and that will basically restore your throat like instantaneously.
Wow.
Yeah, I was dealing with the sore throat at the beginning of the week, and you know, it sucks because now when you have any type of like cold and flu symptoms, you really can't work. Because like at that point it's like, well, do you have COVID? And so I drank that and I was feeling instantly better from drinking that tea and like soothing my throat from the weather changes and things like that. So Definitely would drink slippery elm bark. Definitely would drink thyme tea just to keep the body warm, to help with winter melancholy. You know what I mean? To kind of lift the mood and lift the spirits for the winter. I would definitely drink that thyme tea for that. And of course, I would just drink dandelion root all the time. Dandelion leaf and dandelion root. I drink that every day. You know, well, not dandelion root, but definitely dandelion leaf. You know what I mean? It's one of those herbs that you can kind of always drink. You know that it's helping to nourish your body. You know that it's building you up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, definitely.
And it looks so beautiful too. Like the photos that you show in the mason jar, I'm like, it's so beautiful. The flower itself. It's yes, gorgeous. So imagine putting that into your body, and as you were saying, like flushing out and cleaning out what's no longer needed or what's no longer helpful. That's a great thing to have in your arsenal.
Right. And the dandelion too is like, that's one of the only herbs that you can use every single part of the plant. So you can use the seeds, the leaf, the stem, the root. You can use every single part of the plant. So it's so fun because you know that it's safe, you know?
Wow, that's great to know. I'm gonna, definitely making a note of that. I hope this is helpful, and thank you for sharing that, because that's really a great load of information for folks who are trying to get in. Kelsey, I see you saying it looks like I have to run out and get time. Yes. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get some thyme tea as well. So I'm gonna transition into kind of art, and you're an actress, you're a professor. I mean, you are my mentor when it comes to acting, when I, learning the craft and like all of, the studying and all of those things. And I'm curious to know, now that you're an herbalist, how does your artistic practice inform your herbalist practice? Or are they in conversation with one another? Do they influence one another at all? Or are they like separate entities?
Yeah, like that's the crazy part, is because you would think being an actress, like I would be able to like be that herb lady, like that, makes videos and talks about herbs, like, but it's like that. And this because you've been with me since I was a actor, a baby actor at that. That part of my life is so intricate and separate from anything else that I exist as. What's wrong, honey? Be careful. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay, well, just wait. So that part of my life is like so intricate. It doesn't exist. Like, I don't know, like being an actress is like this whole other part of my life.
Yeah.
So like being an herbalist helps me to be an actress, meaning like it keeps me well. Because as an actor, you need your voice and you need your body and you need your mind to be an actor. And so the herbs keep me well so that I can continue to do my work as an actor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I would say like they're definitely separate. It's interesting, like, I find myself oftentimes like helping other cast members with stuff. So like cast members will be like, what do you have for a sore throat? Or what do you have for tired? Like I find myself being an herbalist and being of service to other actors. But like, as far as like it being like a thing that's intertwined for me, like as an herbalist, I'm definitely more discreet, and I keep like, it's like almost like a knowledge that I just like hold on to in my heart because it means so much to me.
Yeah.
It's hard to like put it out there.
Yeah, that vulnerability is
Yeah, which is interesting being an actor.
Yeah, where you have to do that on stage.
So yeah, like definitely not in any way the same, but I will say like like I said, it definitely keeps me well, and I love acting. You know what I mean? Like that's my first love, my always love. You know what I mean? I'm never gonna stop acting.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's beautiful that you have, you can have those different like facets and have those different experiences that you can go back, on the stage and, do your work, but then you can go and grow herbs and work with people. So you're living these different experiences, which I think is really important, to live a life outside of the theater and like have other skill sets and passions to keep you alive.
Yeah, because I always think about like what happened to us artists like during COVID, and how the theaters were shut down and we couldn't work. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like that sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
even now, like, I'm like, I still need to, like, when COVID hit, like, I had 4 shows booked. Should I be quiet? I had 4, be quiet. I had 4 shows booked. So when COVID hit, it was like, all of that went away. So it was nice to have another passion and something to dig into outside of being an actor.
Yeah.
You know, but I think we, like, as artists too, like, ultimately that's just how we are. You too, like, you have all of the different things that you do and that you bring to the table outside of acting. But it's like we have to do that, because what else, like, when the theaters close down or whatever, what are we going to do? We have to do the other things that are important to us.
Yeah. And I love that. I think that key phrase that's important to us, and like, and understanding your values and what you're willing to do and like what you want to spend your time doing is so important. And I love how you brought up earlier, going back to like just having herbs as an actor and making sure you're well, because I think that's really important for actors and artists, you know, to just be well and take care of themselves. And there's so much burnout in our culture of work, 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 be about the work, that sometimes you forget to just like clean your vessel and just be clear and have the tools that you need to take care of your instrument, which is your body. So I think that's really important to have that, you know, that you have that and that's available to you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, definitely. We, yeah, 100%. But I love, you know, I feel like acting too, like there's, you know, there's a healing aspect to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting to do that and perform and go on stage like that's healing in itself. But I also feel like it's healing that's not universal. It's healing for the artists themselves, and you know, and even for the people who watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And who come to the plays and who see the work. They're healed through our work too. Like, you know, I just did The Color Purple, and that was huge for me. Like, I felt like I was ministering through that role to like Black women, and just even to myself. I was ministering to myself. Like, I was, you know, even now I'm like, I say The Color Purple lines to myself to remind myself who I am, like Alice Walker. And just, you know, like, I needed that
power.
Right. So totally, for sure.
Yeah.
That's
beautiful. Well, we have so many topics, like we do so many things. I want to take a quick moment to move on to tarot, because I know that you also you're a tarot reader as well, and an intuitive reader. So I'm curious as to how that has shaped you or transformed you, working with tarot cards and working as an intuitive reader.
Girl, I almost wish, like, well, no, I keep everything in my life. I really would. But when it comes to tarot, when I first started reading, I met this lady, and the lady who taught me to read basically told me, she's like, take a tarot card and put it in your window for like a week. And the energy of that card will come to you throughout the week. And that's how you will learn about the card.
Ooh. Wow.
Now, me being like, you know, young and like uber eager to be like spiritualist, was like, yes, I'm gonna do it. And yeah, my entire world was rocked by that experience. Meaning, like, yeah, I can't even explain it. My entire world was rocked. I had no idea, like, the energy behind what I was doing at the time. And so I honestly, like, kind of put the cards away for a while.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand them. Like, I was experiencing something that I didn't understand. And so, but like, ultimately, I would still do like oracle cards and oracle readings. And that helped me to not be so afraid of the tarot, meaning, or the tarot, or however people say it. Meaning, like, I started to realize, one, I probably shouldn't be reading for myself.
Yeah.
You know, that's not to say don't ever read for yourself, but like you have your own idea and your own consciousness and your own subconscious thoughts that are enacting and that are playing out when you're reading for yourself. And so that has a big part to do with it, how you receive it. So I started to be like, okay, I won't read for myself. I'll get readings from other people.
Mm-hmm.
That helped me to understand the cards better. And then ultimately just like, just getting back into it, learning about the numbers, learning about the planetary alignments, learning about like just all of the different intricacies of the tarot. And then also like, and this is just card reading, oracle reading in general, also being able to like look at the card and listen.
Yeah. Which is, it's a concept. That's something I'm working on right now. It's just like, be still and listen. Yeah.
So it's like that card is there in front of you and it has the energies that are surrounding it and the things that you know about the card and you know about the energy. But the whole second part of that is your divine connection to the angels and the ancestors and what they're trying to tell you. And so that's how I really like begin to love doing readings, because I knew like, I know I'm intuitive. I know that spirit is speaking to me. I know what's on the cards. And so if I pull, let me listen. Yeah. And that helped me to be more comfortable with reading. So, I mean, I love reading tarot. I think I love reading oracle cards. I do readings now. I just started back doing readings for this network that I used to work with, and it's been really successful. Like I have people like, I love getting your readings, but it's just like, I will say too that it's one of those things that I can only do when I'm in the mood to do it. Yeah. Because it's so energetically draining.
Yeah. And it sounds like you form boundaries around that of like, okay, I'm gonna put these away for a while, work with the oracle cards, come back and just like, integrate it in the way that works best for you, which I think is really important working with tarot. Oh, I think Kelsey said 4 of Swords moment to what you were saying about listening, I think.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Kelsey, yes. 4 of Swords, sit down.
Sit down somewhere. Take a break. Listen to what Spirit's trying to tell you.
Yeah.
The guidance are the words that are coming to you. You know what I mean? And then also like what I love about the cards too is like the images.
They're so beautiful. Yeah.
It really like, it informs me all the time. Like I've had revelations so many times just from like looking at the images and letting the images speak to me. From like where how they look, or the different places of the lighting in the cards and different colors, and like, I love the intricacy of looking at the cards. And I love that art form. And it's one of my favorite things to do. It's like, especially if we're like girlfriends and you want to sit down and have a reading, let's go. We can read
so much
all
fun.
night.
Yes. And that's a great way to like just develop friendship. I think when you have that level of trust with someone to like read with and share your interpretation. Because as you were saying, sometimes it's like difficult to read for yourself, and like you have your own, like you're saying, your own biases, your own experiences. So having that outside experience is so helpful.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm still doing it. I love it. But like, those boundaries.
Yeah.
In reading are important, And then a lot of like I've learned too is like with other people, not telling people what. Like just being able to deliver the news.
Yeah. Which can be awkward sometimes. It can be like, ooh, yeah. And like,
is he coming back? No, he's not coming back. And Spirit said you need to sit your ass down somewhere and work on whatever. And then you get cussed out. Because that's not what they asked. They want to know how he feel about him. Well, he feel like he don't want to be with you no more.
So what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Yeah. Which is like,
how do you feel about you? And the cards are really ruthless like that.
Yeah.
Well, do you love you? Or you ask the cards, what should I do? Do you trust your intuition?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But I came to you because, we're telling you to go back to your intuition because we already told you what the answer was. Girl, I'd be so annoyed.
They drag you. They drag you.
Drag me through the mud.
And I love that because, just thinking about that, that's why I'm learning to focus on asking empowering questions to the client, or, being like, okay, you're asking about this other person, but like you were saying, how do you feel about you? And what do you want to do about your situation? How can we use it as a tool to empower, as opposed to giving your power away to other people and other situations that are not in your control,
Yes. So that's the biggest challenge, I think, as a reader.
Yeah.
Is delivering that message that is ultimately, and we all get it. Like, even when I do readings for myself, like, spirit will put me in my place. Like, you know what I mean? Like, well, you already asked me that 10 times and I already told you on an intuitive level what was going to happen, but you can come to these cards again and ask if you want. It's going to say that, you know what I mean? Like, we all get checked
all the time, even if the way the cards might fly out. Some decks I have it go, and it's like, I told you, girl. So why are you asking me again?
I made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kelsey, you said same. Yeah. My friend Kelsey is on here too. She was on last week. She's a tarot reader as well. Yeah, it's gets everyone who reads for themselves and reads for others.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow, Sarai, please just wait a second. You wasn't even acting like this all day. He loved to be on camera. Say hello.
Hi, Sarai.
He loved to be on camera. But yeah, girl. So yeah, I love oracle cards though, because they're so sweet.
They are. They have like a totally different personality. Like, if you need an uplifting message, they need like, some encouragement. You just like, oh, light little oracle cards.
Right. So I love that. I definitely would prefer, a lot of the times I would prefer oracle.
Yeah.
Over tarot. It's like, be gentle with me.
Yeah, please don't check me. Yeah, I feel that. Well, I think we are at time actually, so I don't know. Yes, if you wanted to keep going, or are you good to wrap up?
Hold on, let me just come here. Sarah, give me the tablet. Let me fix it. What else? Well, what I did want to definitely make sure that we like talked a little bit about growing food, because I feel like I've been shouting grow food from the rooftops for a long time, and I feel like you guys hear me, like people hear me, not just you, because I know that we're all like, but I feel like I just want to like just reiterate how important it is, like just from wherever you are, at whatever capacity that you can, grow something, whether it's just like basil in the kitchen or carrots on the front porch, or you know what I mean? Like, I can't express that enough. And I feel like it's the most revolutionary thing we can do right now. Is like become self-sustainable, grow our own food, deal with our own waste. Like, we really have to move towards that. And I'm like, and it's so crazy because like this year, before the summer started, I was like just talking in the winter. I was talking shit. It's okay. Like, when the spring comes, I'm about to grow more food than I ever grew before. I'm growing food everywhere. I'm growing food, like, you know what I mean? And then like all of this stuff started happening. Like, one of the gardens that I worked at, we had to pull that garden up. My house, like I had some stuff happen at my house. There was a yellow jacket infestation, so those gardens didn't come through. So it was like all of these energies trying to prevent this growing of this food, which lets me know like I need to do it even more. Because if there's this much resistance around the act of growing food, I know right now that this is what spirit wants us to do more than ever. And so like me and one of my closest friends, we talk about this, and he always says like, grow food in a boot if you have to. Like, if you have an old shoe and you got to grow food in an old shoe or whatever, it's like guerrilla style. Let's do that. You know what I mean? And so I feel like that is the most important thing, for sure, that I definitely wanted to touch on. Yeah, and that's what I had to say about
Grow
that.
food.
Grow food,
Yeah, I
everybody.
totally agree. Grow food, everyone. I totally agree because I've been getting these like I just need to do it too. Like, and this is confirmation. Like, because you look at the grocery stores and you see things. Sometimes it's like, what if you don't have the basic produce? What happened then? Like, how will you sustain yourself or sustain your community or your family? Like, it's really important that we start taking those matters into our own hands and
Yeah,
growing
and just
food and
like
sharing with each other.
preserving, yeah, learning the skills.
Yeah,
Even if it's like,
yeah,
knowing how to do it is
yeah,
important. And like learning how the earth works and being able to preserve your own food. And like, I'm not trying to, like, this is not on like no conspiracy theory stuff. Like, this is just on like just basic, like taking back control of who we are
yeah.
and like taking,
Sovereignty.
our sovereignty of as a people, of like
Yeah.
being able to eat,
Hmm.
being able to have water, being
Yeah.
able to be healthy, you know what I mean? Like, that's so important to me. And so yeah, totally.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you. Thank you. Can you let the people know like how they can get in touch with you, what offers you have going on, or anything else you want to share?
Yeah, so Sarah, can you please be quiet just for 5 more minutes? My son, y'all, we about to go at it because he been quiet all day. He does this every time I get live. He's quiet all day, and then it's time for me to go live, and he has plenty to say. So I'm Xulee, the Lady Venus. My website is herbinherbals.com. That's HERBIN herbals.com. I right now I'm like, I don't have any necessarily specials, but I am getting ready to launch my herb class. I'm actually in my new office space now and like getting it set up so that I can start hosting my herb classes. I got all types of stuff on my website, womb tea, V-steam blend, things like that. So right now I'm kind of in the process of transitioning into my new space, but you can check out my website. I'm trying to like just be more, because I have so many different jobs.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be more like on it, but like that's the reason also I wanted an office space so that people can come to me, like, you know what I mean, and get stuff here. But yeah, you can subscribe to my website, order tinctures, teas, V-steam blends, schedule a consultation, whatever. Yeah, that's me. Real simple, straight to the point.
Yay. Yes. Please check out her work, support her work. She does amazing work all around with everything that she does. And her herbs are really great to have in your cupboard, especially during the season of change.
Yes, Ashe. So I
Yes.
really appreciate you having me. This was so
Thank
fun.
you.
I was looking forward to this all day. I was like, I get to talk to Fola about healing stuff. And
Same.
so
It's so much fun, and it's just nice to just be able to talk to people like we've known each other for so long, and to like just evolve in this way and to be able to like have conversation it's really meaningful.
yes. Yeah, so yeah, let me deal with this guy, which I'm sure his trauma will be over as soon as I hang up.
All right.
But yes, I love you to the max. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. It was so
Thank
fun.
you so much. Thank you. Take care, everyone.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Peace and love.
Peace.